Good evening, Drew.
Okay, something's definitely going on with my computer right now.
uh,
It's
okay.
weird because I was playing an online video game with some friends earlier this evening,
As one does.
and it's like they kept saying, Drew, you don't show us online. You don't show us online. Like they couldn't join my group, and I couldn't see them online. It was just a weird client thing. I mean, computers are hard, right?
They are.
But just now, as I normally do, I open up Skype and then I call my friend Paul Baylor. It didn't show you as online, and I was like, he's got to be online. So I just tried calling. I tried calling you, and it worked. So clearly, something is going on with my computer. Anyway, hello.
Hey, how you doing?
It's Thursday, my guy.
It is.
Full week back at work. Everything is just kind of like meh. You know. I don't know, man. It's just I don't have a lot to talk about this week. It seems like you got topics du jour.
It's gonna be a Paul heavy episode. I apologize.
Okay, I like that though. I like that though. All I'll say is I can't stop playing Balatro again. I can't stop. Can't stop. Won't stop.
I just can't not get into that game.
Oh, buddy, I'm doing some of the extra achievements right now, and I am so close to beating the hardest difficulty, and it's so rewarding when the numbers are numbering. Oh, God,
numbers go up.
Numbers go up. Like numbers go into like weird Excel notation. Like that's the best feeling in the world. Exponents. Oh God, don't even get me started. All right, though. Enough about me. Let's talk about Paul's stuff. So where do you want to start here?
Let's start at the top. Drew, I have made a life-changing discovery. Life-changing.
Okay. All right. Okay. Let's play a game. Let's play a little game. I'll see if I can get it in 20 guesses or less. But you got to give me a kind of like a realm to start in. Not too on the nose. Just give me a hint.
Okay. Oh, geez.
Is it okay? Okay. All right. No. Let's try this a different way. 20 questions. 20 questions.
20 questions. Okay.
All right. Is this computer related?
Sort of.
Okay. All right. That's an answer. I was looking for a yes or no, but we'll go with sort of.
I would say more yes than no, but yeah.
Is this something that has impacted your life daily?
Yes.
Is it something to do with consuming content on computers?
Yes.
Is it something to do with YouTube?
No.
Is it something to do with Spotify?
No.
Is it something to do with your monitor?
No.
Okay, that's 6. Okay, all right. Time to lock in. Is this something to do with your Mac?
No.
Is this something to do with your PlayStation?
No.
Your Steam Deck?
No.
Your phone?
No.
Your iPad?
No.
Okay, all right. We're halfway there, and I've hit a wall.
Go back to the consuming content. Go back to that.
Okay, so
go back to that.
Consuming content. Well, we did YouTube, we did Spotify, we did video games. Consuming content. Does it have to do with your TV?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. So you didn't get a new TV.
I did not.
So does this have to do with TV settings?
No.
Interesting. It doesn't have to do with a TV setting, but it has to do with your television. Does it have to do with a particular feature of your specific TV model?
No. You're going further away. You're getting further away.
Fuck. Okay. All right. I got like 3 left. Okay. So it has to do with your TV. And this is a life-changing discovery.
What do I do? What do I do with my TV?
You play PlayStation on your TV.
Or.
There's no or.
There's an or.
You watch shows.
I watch shows.
Okay.
Okay.
So, okay. I'm assuming previously when you would consume streaming services, you were doing it through your TV's OS?
No, I use an Apple TV.
Okay, so you use an Apple TV. So is this Apple TV related?
No.
Fuck. All right, I'm out of questions. So let's just have it.
Okay.
I got close.
You were getting there. You were getting there. Kinda.
All right. What's this?
Okay.
You're using the word life changing, and that's heavy.
No, it is life changing. It's life changing.
Okay.
Ever since I've discovered this, it's been a part of my life. I have learned. So we're both Bezos bitches. We subscribe to Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Yep. And as part of Amazon Prime, there's Amazon Prime Video.
Mm-hmm.
There is a feature of Amazon Prime Video called live channels. These are things where they have like each channel has like a theme, and they constantly just play shows in that theme. Like there's an NYPD Blue one. There's some other ones. But Drew, I'm here to tell you, Amazon Prime live channels has a Buffy channel, and it just plays episodes of Buffy back to back 24 hours a day, and it is fucking amazing.
Okay.
Life changing.
Right.
Life changing.
Okay.
Life changing. Life changing.
I don't know if this is life changing.
It is for me.
Paul.
It has changed my life.
But you already had access to all of Buffy.
Yes, but this is wonderful because I don't have to think about it. I just turn on Amazon Prime. Now it's like the first thing in there. I click it, and suddenly I'm watching Buffy, and I don't have to pick the episode. I don't have to worry about
it.
All
right, now hold on. Stop.
I just watch whatever's on.
I'm going to ask you what has to be the most important question here.
Mm-hmm.
When you say it automatically picks the episode, does it play them in order?
I believe so. Yes. Yeah.
If you would tell me that it's just like random episodes from different seasons, or if it like mixes it, does it? Okay, hold on though. Does it mix in like Angel episodes?
No, it's just Buffy. Just Buffy.
It's just Buffy.
Just Buffy. Just Buffy. Just Buffy.
Just Buffy.
Just Buffy. Just
okay.
Buffy. And
okay.
So it's nice, if I sit down on my couch, I have my laptop on my lap, I turn it on, I half watch a Buffy, I watch some code, or write some code, and yeah, it's great. Or if I just want some background noise and I don't feel like listening to music at work, I'll just open up browser tab, turn it on, and just be like, oh, it's this episode. And yeah, it's good. It's good. It has changed my life. For the better, because now I'm consuming more Buffy, and that's the right amount of Buffy.
Yeah. I mean, okay.
It's amazing. Now, granted, it is the HD remastered special edition, which is not the right edition to watch, but it's okay. And there's
the right edition is the original aspect ratio one, right?
Yes,
we've talked about that.
Yes.
Okay, so how do I find out what other Amazon Live channels there are?
Just go to Prime Video, and one of the things kind of in their very, very crowded top nav banner is this thing called Live TV. And
Live TV.
Yeah, so there's a Dungeons and Dragons Adventures channel, Rome, Formula One channel, some local channels.
I'm clicking Live TV and nothing's happening.
Well, did it give you the guide? All the different channels you can watch?
No.
Oh, well.
Wait.
Yeah.
Wait. Okay, so all right, hang on. Let me make sure I'm looking at the same thing here. So I got my browser open. I go to Amazon Prime Video. I click on Live TV. Then it's like
here, I got a
recently watched, right? So there's like BBC Top Gear Best of. Is that a channel?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the Formula One channel.
Yeah, you're on the right place. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, I was there. It was in here the whole time.
Oh, there's a Kids in the Hall channel. There it is. That's
okay.
Cool.
All right. Now we're talking. There's an A-Team channel.
Mythbusters. Buffy. Dude, Buffy. There's Buffy.
Well, so, okay. There's this thing called Universal Action. And it looks like it's just the A-Team.
Huh.
Like, it's just the A-Team. Oh, no, there's Knight Rider. Knight Rider.
There's just a bunch of...
Knight Rider happens later.
80s action shows. Yeah. Okay,
Mythbusters.
There's Walking Dead channel. Yeah. But there's a
National
Buffy channel.
Lampoon.
That's all I care about is Buffy.
SNL Vault.
I was literally watching Buffy, waiting for you to call me.
MGM presents Action. These are all free?
Yeah, there's commercials,
and it just plays.
Yeah, there's commercials. Like the commercials are in the right spot for. And while I was watching Buffy, they're in the right spots. Like they don't do.
There's commercials.
There's commercials. But that's great because you can get up, get something to drink, go pee. Yeah, but I don't have to think about it. I just turn it on, and there's Buffy.
I see Buffy.
Mm-hmm.
I see Buffy. There's 18 minutes left in the current episode. Mm-hmm. Rogue Shark, People's Court, Majorca Files. Boy, there sure are a lot of channels here.
But there's only one that matters. At least matters to me.
Is this life-changing?
It is. It has changed my life, Drew. Changed it for the better.
Okay. So tell me, are you mostly consuming this on your television then?
And my Mac. Yeah.
Okay.
But mostly my television.
So you led me astray. If you had told me that you were consuming this on multiple devices, maybe I could have got a little closer. I would have never gotten here.
Yeah.
Huh. Life-changing, he says.
Life-changing.
Okay.
Life-changing. It's amazing. It's awesome. Highly recommended. Recommended.
All right. I mean, look, I'm happy for you.
And even when I'm only half watching an episode, the episodes that make me cry still make me cry. I've learned that. So,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Yep.
You know. Okay. What's under sports? Is there Texas Metal? I don't know what that means. Tennis Today. Yep. PGA Tour. Okay. I don't know about any of this, man. Okay. I'm happy for you. I don't know. Like, I thought maybe you had discovered like a new vaccine or something.
No.
Okay.
No,
all right.
No. Hey, not everything that's life-changing has to be major. This has just made my life a little bit better.
All right.
Since I discovered it.
It's your life. You change it how you want.
And it's great. It's great.
Okay.
Because now if I just after I'm with work, I sit down on the couch, I turned it on, I grab my laptop, it's great. It's great. I don't have to pay full attention because I'm not like sitting down picking an episode and committing to it. I'm just turning it on, and whatever's on is on. And if I don't watch it fully, I don't watch it. And it's great. It's great.
Okay. I'm happy for you, man. I'm glad you found this. How did you find this? That'd be my next question.
I saw a Reddit post, like everything good
I thought you were done with Reddit.
No.
That's the real story here. Paul's back on Reddit.
Yeah, I don't think I complained about Reddit when they got rid of the third-party clients, but I just started using the Reddit mobile app, and it's fine. So, yeah, Reddit is just so full of good stuff.
Yeah, Reddit's sometimes good at full stuff.
I do have another media recommendation for our 6 listeners.
All right, let's hear. What's your next recommendation?
So, I'm here to recommend the CW television show, which now has concluded its 4th and final season, Superman and Lois.
Superman and Lois. Okay.
Let's
hear it.
I didn't watch this show until season 3 was over, and I kind of binge watched all of season 3. And then season 4 came out, and I've recently over break I watched most of it and finished it up here the other day. I'm here to tell you that at least in my book, this is the best Superman adaptation for TV or movies. Period. It's the best. It's so good, Drew. So the spin of Superman and Lois, and by the time the show starts, Superman is already established. He's married to Clark Kent is married to Lois Lane. They have 2 twin boys, and the first kind of plot hook is they move from Metropolis back to Smallville.
Which Smallville was another Superman show, right?
It was, yes.
Okay.
And then it's I mean, granted, it's Superman. There are villains. There are action scenes. He does fly around and punch stuff, but it's mostly it. A big focus is, how he is trying to, raise a family, keep a secret identity, and it all kind of goes sideways. This is a very, very, very light spoiler for the first season of Superman and Lois, but it gets more complicated when one of his boys gets powers.
The other boy doesn't get powers?
And the other boy does not get powers.
Oh, no. That would be horrible.
And
can you imagine being Superman's kid and not getting powers? What do you have to do? Work with computers?
Yeah, and also, like, when they first start the series, the kids don't know he's Superman still. He's keeping that secret from them. And it is funny because you get to see Superman be a bad dad.
Okay.
He makes a lot of mistakes. He does realize he makes mistakes, and he does apologize, and everyone's happy. But it's really good. The fourth season kind of introduces Lex Luthor as the big villain, and it has a big climax and in conclusion, and I cried at the end of the last episode because that's who I am as a person. But I'm just here to say it's just a really good Superman show. It's a good show, and it's a good Superman show. I highly recommend if you're into superheroes at all. It's a CW show, so it's not the highest production value, but they had some money for some computer graphics, and it does look pretty good. So yeah.
So I'm looking at this right now. It says it originally launched on February 23rd, 2021.
That sounds right. Yeah.
And it went until December 2nd, 2024. So is it done?
It's done. Yeah. The fourth season is their last season. They're done. The story is wrapped up pretty dramatically. And yeah, they're done. No more shows. It's over. So it's 4 seasons. It's a complete story. You can yeah. It's okay. It's good. It's really good. It's really, really, really good. Like I said, it's
did you just binge the whole thing, or have you been watching it? Have you been watching it for the past 4 years?
No, I started watching it after the 3rd season concluded because it ended up on Max. So I watched. You can also watch it on CW, but I think there's commercials when you do it there. And I started watching. Like, I'll give this a try because, like, the algorithm, like, he knows that I like superheroes. Like, hey, you want to watch Superman and Lois? Like, I'll give it a try. And I got hooked, and I binged all 3 seasons, and I've been waiting for the 4th season to come out because there was kind of a big gap between the 3rd and 4th season. That there was even a question of whether it was even going to happen, and then it did, and it took a while to finish. Yeah, it's done, over. So when the 4th season came out, I had to wait for it to completely be on CW before it came to Max. So over break, I watched most of it, and I just finished it up last weekend, and yeah, I really, really enjoyed it.
Okay. Okay. Now, were you a Smallville person?
No. I think I watched part of it, but never really got into it. Or there was another, wasn't there like a Lois and Clark one?
Maybe that's the one I was thinking of, because I seem to remember there was like Smallville, which was around for a while. Yeah. And there was like a Lois and Clark
Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman. Yes.
And that was like ABC or NBC or something, wasn't it? Or was that CW as well?
No, ABC.
ABC. Yeah. I was going to say, I thought it was a major network. I seem to vaguely remember commercials for that.
And if I remember correctly, Smallville focuses on like Clark Kent as like a teenager, right?
Yeah. Younger Superman.
Yeah. Mm-hmm, yeah.
So it's interesting, Paul, because I feel like, when we talk about superheroes, you're very much Batman boy. Yeah. I haven't really heard you talk about Superman much.
I mean, I'm not a huge Superman fan. If I'm reading DC comics, I prefer things like Justice League over just raw Superman, because like Superman gets silly because he's so fucking strong. Like it's just, like the things just escalate and just get ridiculous, and sometimes Superman can be a little stupid, but I really enjoyed Superman and Lois, so yeah.
But you're primarily a DC Comics person, though, right? You're not Marvel. Is that fair?
I do both.
Yeah, I know you do both.
Yeah,
but
yeah. My heart belongs to DC, which is why it's so sad that their movies or their cinematic universe has sucked. So
yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So Superman and Lois then was worth your time.
It is, yes. I would recommend to anybody. It's a good show. It's a good feel good show because it's Superman. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Hey, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look, I'm happy. I'm always for like binging new content and new media, but I'm not a Superman fan at all. For a lot of the reasons you just said. I just feel like his storylines are always like really, really weird. And I still will watch the original Superman movie with what's his face, Christopher Reeve.
Yeah.
Like I think that's a really good movie, and like Superman: The Return's pretty good, but like once you start getting into the ones with like Richard Pryor, it's just like I can't really do this anymore.
Yeah.
Nothing against Richard Pryor. I like Richard Pryor.
Like there is like threats and villains and other realities and all that shit happens, but at the end of the day, it's really about. I would say the show's more about Clark Kent than it is about Superman. Right? It's very much like him trying to figure out raising his family, how does he keep his secret identity? How does he handle his kids? How does he handle one kid who has powers? There's some other stuff that happens to the family. It's good. It's good.
Okay.
What else can I say?
All right. Are you watching anything else, or is that pretty much it? I mean, that and Buffy. It sounds like you got a full plate.
I'm like 2 episodes away from finishing The Wire.
Ooh.
But I've been distracted with other things. Yeah. But I'll get there. I'll finish it. I'll get back into it. I'll probably finish it this weekend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on. I have to reply to a text. This is late breaking things.
Uh-oh. No, I don't want that many roast beef sandwiches.
Excuse me? Oh, no. Nobody sends me food during recording anymore. That was funny, though.
Oh.
All right. Hit me with this next topic, because I have thoughts.
Okay. It's CES. Consumer Electronics Show, and there's been lots of announcements, including a keynote from nVidia where they, among other things, officially announced their 5000 series and their new flagship video card, the 5090.
Yep.
I received an email the other day from Micro Center saying they're going to be in stock at the end of the month.
Oh, Paul, you only got an email? Like, you simple bastard. I get text messages from Micro Center. In fact, on Tuesday this week, shortly after the announcement, I get a personalized text from Micro Center. NVIDIA GeForce RTX 5080, 5090 are coming 1.3. Get ready for game-changing AI capabilities for gamers and creators. You only got an email? You fucking normal person. Get on my level, son. No, Micro Center has no chill.
They're like, this fucker will buy one. Well, what do you think, Drew? Okay, do you plan on upgrading?
Man, okay, listen.
Because this seems to be right up your alley.
It does. It is 100% right up my alley. And I'm like, normally I would use the phrase like "put it in my ass" to describe how bad I would want one of these things, because I reserve that phrase for when I need something so bad that it has to be up my ass at any given time. I'm ambivalent about this launch.
Really?
Well, so, okay, look, here's the deal.
Okay.
My current computer setup right now is I have been gaming in 4K for the past however long I've had my 4094. I have one nice 4K monitor. I've played Cyberpunk at 4K. I mean, Call of Duty, that's nothing, right? That just plays. I played Stalker 2 on high, not ultra, but I played Stalker 2 on high. And optimization issues aside, that was a good experience. It played really well. I feel like Drew's computer's in a pretty good place right now. Now, that's to say nothing of like new titles that are going to come out next year, and as more companies lean into like new features that they want to include in their games. Is there a foreseeable future where I'm going to need a 5090? Possibly. Do I need to go out of my way to try to find one of these things at the end of the month? The answer is most assuredly no.
Okay.
Previous launches, I would go stand outside Micro Center and hope that I would get one. I'm not like I have like no desire to do that right now.
Is it because like everything's just good enough right now with what you have, and you don't need those AI generated frames?
Okay, we're gonna talk about that. Just hold your horses there, buddy, because there's some shenanigans happening with that.
Mm-hmm.
But look, I have other hobbies right now, and look, let's not bury the lead. A 5090 is $2,000, 2,000 US Ranchero dollars, assuming you get the thing at MSRP. Plus, a lot of times what happens is the 5090 for $2,000 is just the nVidia reference edition. When other suppliers start making the cards, like Asus or MSI or somebody else starts like making the partner boards, as they're called, number one, those will probably be slightly overclocked, have different coolers, have other different features like LEDs and shit on them that you'll pay a couple extra $100
exactly
for. So
there'll be a little bit more.
So like $2,000 is the minimum. Plus, who knows what you're going to expect to get availability wise and scalpers and all this other stuff that's going to come with any of these launches, right? So am I in a rush to go out and actively pursue a 5090 right now? The answer is no. Like, I just don't have that drive. Do I want a 5090? Yeah, I would love to have one. And not for nothing, if I'm like walking around Micro Center 2-3 months from now and I see one, I mean, assuming that I still am employed and, the country's not on fire, like, yes, I will buy a 5090. They're saying that it's going to be so much more powerful than a 4090 is right now, but there are a couple things that make me cautious about that number.
Okay.
So you talked about the first one right away. So as part of the new announcement of these 50 series cards, nVidia is really cranking its own hog about their dynamic frame generation technology called DLSS. So DLSS is something that's been around for a little while now, and the whole idea is that by using machine learning, they call it AI, but like, we need to be 100% clear. Like, this isn't necessarily generative AI. This is just traditional machine learning. What it's able to do is use some of your power of your GPU to basically render additional frames while your video card is actively rendering frames. So that way, for a smoother gaming experience, it doesn't have to render every frame per se, but it can supplement additional frames as it's rendering, which to the naked eye looks like you're getting higher frame rates than you actually are. Like, if you were to turn off DLSS, you would be getting, a couple less frames than you're getting right now. But now with DLSS 4, what they're doing is, instead of just generating one additional frame per cycle, they're going to be generating like 4 or 5 frames additional. In addition to what's happening on your video card. So where people are kind of like big mad about this is on the product announcement, and it's currently, they still have these charts up as of our recording time, where they're talking about the GeForce 5090 performance, and they're comparing it to the previous generation 4090. They're showing these massive improvements in terms of rendering performance. The chart name is relative performance, but they're basically just using frame generation as the main metric here. And if they're measuring this with DLSS 4 on, is it really that much more powerful than a 4090? That's why I'm like a little hesitant to jump all in on this. Like, I really want to wait for YouTube reviewers like Gamers Nexus and some of these other people to get their hands on this and do like actual testing with like stuff that normal people test to see like what the actual performance gains are. Now, I think realistically, we could probably expect, just like we have every generational uplift, of like maybe 25 or 30% increased performance at higher resolutions than what we would traditionally get with like nVidia tells us. Like, you always have to look at these things from nVidia very, very carefully, because we're not exceptionally privy to their testing methodologies.
Yeah, I'm looking at that particular. I found that chart you're talking about, and it's very much a Bezos chart. That y-axis is not like
Right.
it's the 4090 is at 1x, and then you just get bars that are bigger than that. Like it's not telling you what it's measuring, or like yeah.
So I'm very, very skeptical of what the actual number is. Like I want quantitative numbers. And I know that once some of these YouTube channels like Jay's 2 Cents and Gamers Nexus and a couple other ones that I watch, once they actually get their hands on it and we see what it's like and how it performs, then okay, maybe that sways me a little one way versus the other. Maybe I'll want it a little bit more. If I get like 40 or 50 extra frames or something at 4K, then hey, great. I would probably want one even more. Yeah. But there's another part of this though that also scares me a little bit.
Okay.
The wattage requirements.
Oh, I assume they took more power, but
okay. So
I really didn't look into that. Yeah.
So there's a couple things here. So my 4090, okay, is a 450 watt video card.
That's a lot of
450 watts of power, which in turn has to be dealt with from a heat perspective. And there was also last generation, NVIDIA basically created this new power adapter for their video cards. Yeah. That specification has literally been a dumpster fire. Like depending on the card and depending on the manufacturer, and if you're using an official cable or an aftermarket cable, you know, people had a hard time getting them to fit in their case, and they were accidentally bending these things, which was causing, you know, in most cases, insufficient power delivery, but in a lot of other cases was causing like shorts, or the power connector was delivering too much power and things were like burning out or catching on fire in worst cases. So that has not been a great story for NVIDIA. Now, I don't know what the power connector looks like for these new cards, but the 5090 is going to be a 575 watt card.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Like that is not an insignificant number. Now to be fair, that's the thing running at fucking full send, right? If you're maxing out your bandwidth and you're maxing out your memory and you're maxing out all your cores, like it's gonna chew through 575 watts of power. So they're basically telling you that, like, you know, minimum 1,000 watt power supply, like don't fuck around.
Yeah.
But like, you know, they're basically doing what Intel used to do, is just like, hey man, just fucking juice the wattage and get some performance, right?
Right.
Now, of course, there's extra CUDA cores and all this other stuff that are going to be on it, and that's great, and you know, good stuff. But that's a pretty scary number to me. And I think that part of my hesitation for justifying something like this is, if the 4070, which is going to be like, they're basically launching 3 video cards, right? The 5070, the 5080, and the 5090. They're basically saying that the 5070 is going to give you 50 or 4090 like performance, which again, are they using the fake DLSS 4 number to get there? To be determined, right?
Yeah.
But maybe the sweet spot for me this cycle will be the 5080, because I really feel like the 5090 is going to be the fucking king. And unless monitor resolutions go up, I don't really see a need to go much more powerful, unless we start getting into like more locally running AI models, which I've done. Right. Yeah. Like I've downloaded open source models and run this on the computer and offloaded it to the GPU, and it makes a big difference. I think that if I'm going to continue to do that, that might be the only way I maybe wrap my head around a 5090 versus a 5080. I will upgrade this year. I mean, I think that's almost a certainty. But again, I really want to wait to see what the benchmarks look like, what the power delivery looks like, and just see kind of what the early adopters run into with this, because it's a significant investment. Like $2,000 is a lot of money. I have other things that I have on my wish list right now, where that $2,000 could go to, like, things that go boom. So
makes sense. Yeah, that's more than one expensive hobby. Yeah, I'm familiar.
Yeah, totally.
I'm familiar with that. Yeah.
So I'm very cautious about like what this looks like.
Okay.
Or maybe this what's finally gets me to go to an 8K display? Question mark. I don't know, right? But then again, you think about it, that's going to be at least $2,000 for a video card and probably $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000 for a new monitor too.
I was going to ask how much are those running these days?
I mean, it's not cheap, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you have 6Ks, right?
I have 6Ks.
You have 6Ks, and that was pretty pricey.
Yeah, I mean, this particular monitor has dropped in price quite a bit, but I also like to point out that my monitor only does 60 hertz. That's it.
Right.
It will not do any more. So I have been imagined that, not only do you need a bigger panel, but just the ability to refresh it that frequently. I can't even imagine the bandwidth. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Needed.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a lot we don't know. So that's a really long way of saying, over the next 2 weeks, because this is, we're in the second week of January, and this is supposed to hit the street at the end of the month. I think the 30th or 31st. I can't remember.
I think I remember the 30th. I could be wrong.
I feel like it's the 30th. And I just read that text message. I could probably read it again, but anyway, I'm sure between now and then we're going to continue to learn more. I'll keep an eye on it. Right now, I'm not going to actively go out of my way to find one, but we will see kind of what happens. So definitely to be continued. And then, of course, then the question is, well, what do I do with my 4090? I wouldn't have a computer to play. I mean, I have lab computers in my back basement, but those aren't anything. I don't need graphics card for those, my Plex server maybe can do some transcoding on a GPU, but my other Linux box doesn't need that. So, this 4090 is doing good, and I would feel I don't know if guilty is the right word, but I'd feel weird having a piece of hardware that powerful and not doing something. So do I then turn around?
I'm sure you could tell it to somebody. Heck, I might even buy it off you.
I mean, I'm already in your debt for the PS5, so maybe that's the trade. Maybe that's the trade.
I'm sure that 4090 has more value than a PlayStation 5. I'm sure I'd have to give you money. Yeah,
I don't know. Oh. Well, anyway, yeah. So we'll see. I mean, I'm excited. Oh boy, I'll tell you what. If you really want to cringe, though, want to cringe. Here, let me find the video real quick. Did you see Jensen Huang on stage at CES?
I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched a 15-minute condensed version. He is not a good public speaker.
Well, here's the thing, though. He is.
He wasn't. He
was not here. No. No, he was not.
He needed some more Hitler pills or something.
Yeah, dude, the whole "Do you like my jacket" thing was
yeah. And
I've seen him present other places, and he's very entertaining.
Yeah. Oh.
This just wasn't it though. So I just put a link to the Gamers Nexus recap of the 5090 and 5080 and 5070 announcements. And the first 2 minutes and 30 seconds is all you have to watch of that. You could totally skip the rest, but some of that stuff was painful. It was painful to watch. All right, buddy. In the time we have left, I'm so excited to hear about this. So discuss.
I am ready to talk about the app that I am building.
Okay.
So here's the so I want to start by saying I am nowhere close to being anywhere remotely done. I haven't even started with the major feature that I'm trying to get to. I'm just trying to.
Okay. Stop.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to announce it then, or do you want to?
Yes. No. I'm ready to talk about it.
Okay. All right. Just checking.
Because I have made some good progress. I'm at a point now where I finally feel like I've learned enough of the things that I need to learn to be productive in writing Swift applications. There was a lot of false starts, a lot of going down certain paths and not liking it, and learning new things as I get more engaged into that developer community, and going, oh, I'm doing that the old way. Shit. Okay, back. Let me undo all of that and fix all those build errors, and I mean, and it's also a way for me to kind of like get back to like my IT roots, right?
Sure.
So part of it is just like I'm enjoying writing code again, which I haven't done in this kind of level for a very, very, very long time. But here's the elevator pitch for the application.
All right, ready.
So it is in the coffee space, Drew. So it's going to be hard to explain, but there are a lot of YouTube videos, articles out there, but basically like will tell you like, hey, if you have this particular brewer, here's a good way of using it. Recipes, essentially recipes, right? Grind to this level, brew this, do this, let it steep for this long of a time and whatever. And that's great. But what I've always been kind of interested in doing is taking those recipes and kind of like iterating on them and making small changes and seeing whether that improves my coffee, whether like, okay, like maybe instead of the steep time being 30 seconds, let's make it 35 seconds. Let's change the water temperature from boiling to 210. Let's change the grind setting, right? And having a place to be able to track these variations and like, like whether or not you think it improved or whatever. And that's what I am trying to build. I'm trying to build an application where you can go and take one of these recipes and put it into the system and then start making variations and tracking whether that improved it or not to get to the best cup of coffee possible. And that's what I've been working on. And again, I'm nowhere near being finished, but that's my idea. I could not find an app that did this one particular thing. There are apps kind of in this space, but for me, the key of the app is this kind of like taking a recipe and making small iterative changes to it, trying it, comparing it, and then getting down to your ideal recipe for how you like your coffee. And that's what I'm building.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Comments, thoughts, questions, criticisms.
Okay, hold on. I gotta open up my email client here. Okay. So james@jameshoffman.co.uk. Dear Mr. Hoffman, 2 F's and 2 N's. My friend Paul loves you so much that he's making an app that I think you'll like. I definitely want to get in touch with him because I think that he's in love with you. And if this is the only way,
I am, but
this is the only way that you will let him fuck you, then I fully support your decision. Please listen to us at Doing Their Best podcast. Thanks. Your friend Paul. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and send that off to your boy James Hoffman because I feel like he needs to know about this.
And I think like a lot of great apps, it comes from a need that I have.
Sure.
Right. Like it's like something that I want, and I thought about other ways of doing it, and I guess I could keep a fucking journal or something, but writing things down, and it just, I started looking out for different apps, and I tried them, and they're
first of all,
fine, but yeah.
No, first of all, listen, jokes aside, this sounds really cool. I like coffee, you like coffee. There's clearly a need for something like this because like you said, you tried everything else. It's not what you want, so you're going to make something for you, just like we did with our podcast.
Yes.
We're making something for us that we want to see in the world, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So walk me through then, because I'm trying to visualize it. I'm trying to get in the right appropriate headspace for this. Walk me through how I'm going to use this app.
Okay, so granted, I'm nowhere near.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's go. Yeah. We're in the mind palace.
Okay.
We're in the mind palace. Yep.
So obviously you'd go in and there's there would be a place for you to like, to register and log the beans that you currently have, and the ways they're different, your brewers and probably grinders and stuff like that. But then the heart of it is going to be, uh okay, for example, the recipe I am currently using uh uses a Hario switch. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Hario switch is a dual mode brewer. It's part immersion and part pour over. So basically what it is there's it's if you know what, familiar with like what a V60 looks like?
A what?
A V60?
No.
Okay, if the V60, if you think about pour over and you picture in your head what they're pouring into, it's basically like a Chemex but smaller.
Okay.
Okay, that's what it is. So Chemex is a pour over brewer. A V60 is like a 1-2 cup max pour over brewer, where the Hario switch basically adds a switch to basically turn off the flow of coffee. So you can steep it for a bit and then you can release it and have it be like a traditional pour over. And the recipe that I am using is I grind a little coarser than I normally would for like my clever dripper, which is just pure immersion. I grind a
Sure.
little, I boil the water, grind a little finer, put the coffee in there, make sure that the switch is open so the liquid flows. I pour about 160, I put about 19 grams of coffee in there. I put 160 grams of water, like pour it extremely fast, get everything going, let the quote unquote bloom happen, let the water, the water just drip through into the vessel. And then again, this is where it all started. Originally I was letting that happen, basically pour the water, wait 45 seconds, close the switch, pour another 160 milliliters of water, let it steep until 2 minutes, and then open it up and let the coffee draw down. Oddly enough, the name of my app is Drawdown. Drawdown is the phase.
Oh, dude, that's such a cool name.
Yeah. So the drawdown is the phase of coffee, basically when you're done brewing and you're just letting the water drain out. So this whole, actually the whole app kind of started with me taking this recipe originally and trying, like, I wonder if I only did 35 seconds or 30 seconds, or take the water temperature down, or grind a little coarser, or grind a little finer. So that's where this whole thing came. Is my thought is like, you're going to start with the base recipe.
Mm-hmm.
And then you put all that information in there. And I also like imagine that like it'll, like, as you brew, it'll have like, it can show the individual steps and say like, hey, like be like a timer and be like a reminder to say like, hey, your next step's coming up, do this. I have some sketches in a bear note somewhere. But then you can take that recipe and go, and then you can do your brew, take some notes about it. There's some pretty common ways of like if you're trying to rate a cup of coffee or talk about like what you think about it, there's some pretty common industry standard like things that you would want to capture and measure. But then take that recipe and go, okay, like, what would happen if I changed, like I said, instead of 45 seconds in that first phase, 35, but still keep it for like, the whole thing to be about 2 minutes long. And then being able to discern, like, a way to put in there and go like, hey, like the coffee was more bitter or it was more sweet. And just kind of get you to take that recipe and just make small changes to it over time and figure out what you enjoy most about that recipe. So the experimentation, that's really what I want to get at, is, taking a brewing method and experimenting and having a way to track those experiments and whether they've improved your cup of coffee or it was much, much worse. And at the end, get to something that you really, really enjoy.
Huh. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I like that idea.
Mm-hmm.
So you said that it's not anywhere close to ready. So talk about where you are though in terms of the app.
So So I started just with some very, very basic. I knew there were a few pieces. Well, I'm going to say three big things that I needed to really get my feet under myself to feel confident about making this application.
Okay.
One was learning Swift UI. It's a new, it's Apple's latest UI framework for building apps, regardless of their platform. Learning that, I'm using a tool called Swift Data, which is built on top of Core Data, which is basically a way of it's all about saving your state, right? Saving your data. And one of the features it has is you can set it up where it'll automatically sync the data. Well, I use the word automatically in scare quotes, through CloudKit or through iCloud, so your data gets synced across multiple devices. So I needed to feel comfortable with that. And the last one is just kind of like figuring out. I'm not a designer, but figuring out enough of what looks good, what feels good as far as using an app. That's where I've been spending most of my time, is just experimenting with like font sizes and layouts and colors and, iconography. What symbols do I want to use? How I want to designate? How do I want to highlight something that is actionable versus something that is just plain text? Those kinds of things. Just that stuff, being a Apple snob, is important to me.
Sure.
Also, side note, fuck dark mode. Fuck it so hard. I hate it so much. It is so hard to make something that looks good in dark mode. I'm still not 100% confident with my color scheme, but I think I've mostly got something figured out. So what I have right now is a way to catalog, manage the brewers that you have, and I'm like 80% done with managing the beans you have and like tracking purchases of beans and things like that. But it sounds like a little bit, but there's been a lot of like iteration, a lot of learning, a lot of reading, a lot of abandoned branches as I try something visually that just looks like ass. So that's where I'm at now. But like I said, the reason I'm willing to talk about this is I'm finally feeling like comfortable. Mm-hmm. And I think the amount of stuff that I have to kind of learn and figure out is approaching. It's probably not zero yet, but it's getting close. I feel pretty confident with Swift UI. I figured out Swift Data and its weird requirements if you want to use the iCloud, the CloudKit stuff. I think I have a good pattern around managing my state and, having a nice, fast, responsive UI. I think I figured out visually how I want the app to be laid out, at least with like the very boring, like take a picture of your coffee beans and type some stuff in it, that kind of stuff. So that is where I'm at now. I'm almost done with the beans. And then, even though I don't have the grinder stuff, then I really think I'm going to start really trying to figure out like what I'm probably going to, because I'm a big giant nerd. I'm probably going to start thinking about like what, like to be able to track these recipes and the variants, what my data model really has to look like, and, and stuff like that, to figure out the best way to like, what do I need to capture? How do I do that in an efficient way? And then, at least for me, as I start thinking about that, the UI kind of like designs itself. So, yeah, that's where I'm at. So my personal goal is to have it in the App Store by the end of the year.
Okay. I mean, it still sounds like there's a long road to hoe with some of that, but
yeah. I may miss it, but that's my current goal. That's what I'm working towards. So that kind of keeps me focused, so I don't like over engineer, and I really try to focus on like, hey, like the tangent I went down yesterday when I set up. I was like, I want to set up Xcode Cloud. I didn't need to set up Xcode Cloud, Drew.
Yeah, I know that feeling. So here's my last question for you though. When you get there, right? When it's time, do you have plans to monetize?
I've thought about that a very, very little bit. If I did, it would probably be like a free app, and maybe you can track like 3, 4, 5 recipes and a small one. I don't want to do a subscription. I don't want to be that person. This is not going to be my primary moneymaker. It's not.
Sure.
But maybe a small, like, $4.99 one-time unlock to unlock all the features or unlimited stuff. So maybe if I did, it would be a small one-time purchase and not a probably free with a small one-time purchase and not a subscription. That's what I'm thinking today. I do not know how that's going to, because as soon as you start charging money for shit, people start having an expectation of support and quality, but also like free apps. Some people are kind of skeptical. It's like, well, it's just fucking free. How good could it be? So I don't know. We'll see. I am unsure of what I'm going to do as far as monetization, but
yeah, but if you make a couple $100 off of it,
yeah, exactly, yeah.
Well, buddy,
which will pay for. Speaking about spending money, I bought an iPhone 12 mini. So,
like, because you need that to test on.
I've kind of decided that there's lots of different iPhones out there, but really I'm targeting iOS 18, the latest version.
Interesting.
And really the smallest device that runs iOS 18 is one of the minis. And I've been using the simulator, which is basically their, like run an iPhone on the Mac. And it's great, but it can't do some things. It can't do, like, there's no camera. Some things are just very limited. And it's one thing to use your app. You learn very quickly. It's one thing to use your application in the simulator where you're using your mouse and swiping like a big idiot using your big old chunky mouse.
Sure.
And it's a totally different experience to have it in your hand and be using your thumbs and what's easy to reach and what's not easy to reach and stuff like that. So I was like, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to, I have a 16. I have access to a 16 Pro Max if my wife lets me borrow her phone to try the app. But I wanted something physical that's kind of like my toughest design challenge of that small screen. So I found a refurbished one on it. It's like the base 64 gigs of storage or whatever. I'm never going to put a SIM card in it, and I just bought a refurbished one off eBay, and it came, and it's so little.
But do you like it though?
I would never use it day to day.
Okay, all right. That's kind of where I was going.
No, it is way too, dude. Me typing on this thing is like a gorilla using like a McDonald's kiosk. It's just like, it's unnatural. My thumbs are just too big. Like, and it's trying to know that, like, oh, I think you tried to hit D. I'm like, no, my sausage fingers was going for E. I'm sorry. That's my bad. Sorry, my fingers are too fat.
Wow.
But yeah, it's so cute. It's so little. So little.
I bet it does look pretty cute though.
It's so cute. It looks like if Fisher Price would make like my first iPhone.
Cozy phone. Yeah, cozy phone. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like, oh, it's so cute. And I got a purple one. It's like a pastel purple, and it's totally not anything I would ever use. But it was the cheapest color. And yeah.
All right. Well, everybody hears it here first. That's Paul's new app. I can't wait to get a test flight link.
We'll see. When I get to the point, there's probably gonna be some selfless promotion on the coffee subreddit. It's up when I get further to see if I can get some beta testers, and but yeah. Like I said, I'm finally feeling confident that this is possible. So
okay. Well, buddy, I am proud of you. I think this is cool. I'm excited to see where this goes. If I can get in and be an investor early, let me know. I will throw money at you.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
But yeah, this is cool stuff, dude. Good for you.
All right,
this is I'm very excited for you.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. So, yep.
All right. Well, get us out of here, man.
Hey, you know where to go. Doingtheirbest.com. You can find all the show notes, all the social links, email, all that stuff. Tell a friend about us. How about that? Tell a friend. I like this podcast. It's not bad. And hey, thanks for listening.